Hi, I'm Leanne. I'm a lightworker and a mother to 3 special girls. I strive to continue learning, growing, and to collect new skills. I'm a psychic medium, Reiki master teacher, and Akashic record reader and energy healer. I am so excited to share what I've learned and what I'm going to learn and the ups and downs of life. Thank you for joining me on my journey. Welcome to Life of a Lightworker podcast. Hello and welcome. Today I am pulling a card from Rebecca Campbell's The Healing Waters Oracle, and I'm going to have the intention of what do you need to hear right now in this moment. Okay, my first card is going to be Bounteous. Generosity given, relationships, and coming together. I'm going to be reading from the book. Okay, so from the book. When water is present, life is present. It's a gift offered to us and through us. Generously offered, bountifully given. We're beginning to wake up to this precious substance we have in our lives and never take it for granted. Clean, running water is a privilege that many in the West fail to appreciate, and it's one thing that many around the world go without. This card encourages you to appreciate the gifts, bounty, opportunities, and privileges that are in your life, to embrace what you need, but also be gracious to others who might not have what you have, to acknowledge and receive the abundance around you, but also share it. To appreciate the simple things in your life like running water. Don't hoard what you don't need. Share the plenty that surrounds you and watch as it swells and grows. Move from competition to collaboration. Rewrite the script for me against you, welcoming the wellspring that eternally bubbles up from deep within. Share what you love freely. So often, life is that much more enjoyable when it's shared with others. Where water is, life thrives. Where water flows, things are much more alive. Don't hoard and stagnate. Welcome mutual exchange. Share what you've been blessed with, and watch as everything around you and within you becomes more and more alive. Okay, I'm going to pull one more card before I intuitively read into them. Let's see. Oh, there, one just popped right out. Let it rain, allowing what is, inevitability, and trust. Let's see, let it rain. There's a moment just before it starts to rain when the pressure can be felt. What's been building up is being prepared for a big release. The clouds cannot hold their breath a moment longer, and then once on cue, they surrender the rain they've been holding on to. The downpour finally begins. While we may have preferred to see clear skies ahead, a sweet relief can be felt when the waters of the sky return to the ground. There's also a special moment that can be felt immediately after the rain stops and the sun reappears from behind the clouds. It's similar to what happens to us during a good emotional cry. The endorphins that are being released as we let our red-hot tears flow down our cheeks evoke a feeling of sweet relief. Something's being released, lifted, and cleared. We feel a little lighter and more free. This card comes with encouragement to surrender to what's happening in your life. Maybe you're experiencing a challenge or something isn't going to plan. Although you might prefer the sun to shine all year round, there's intelligence in this rainy day. And there's healing in your tears. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. Another little fun thing is that the Bounteous card was on page 72 and Let It Rain was on 102. So I think that's pretty cool. I like seeing those little synchronicities. I feel like part of this message is when you feel safe enough to give away your extra, when you're bounteous and you whatever you bring in, you use, and the extras you share without fear So without hoarding, without that restriction, it allows the rain to come. More will come in when you give freely. When you give with that fear of, I don't really actually want to give it away, but I will, that's very similar to just hoarding it and keeping it for yourself. You need to give it away freely without fear and with joy that you're helping others, that you're giving others. There's joy in that giving, allows more to come in. And when you give, you are creating more space to allow more to come in. So it's this cycle that keeps going. If you give, but you have the energy, the belief, the feelings of hoarding and holding on to, of that fear, that space is being filled up with the fear, and it's harder to let the rain, to receive, come in. It'll kind of trickle around you and float around you. There won't be space for it to come in. That fear takes up the space. And I feel like that's a big issue with manifesting, is that people are doing the steps that other people have done, but they don't have that belief structure. They don't have that belief system. They still hold on to the fear. That fear is filling up those spaces that we're meant to be opening. So we're giving away. We are, giving all the good affirmations to help you feel really good about yourself and try to bring in all these wonderful things, but you have fear, you have restriction, you have doubt, and that's filling up the spaces, preventing what wants to come in to come in. So I feel like that fear piece is really is a big key that a lot of people forget about. They walk the walk, but they don't actually believe it. It's not deeply ingrained. Let me see. Okay, so tuning into the question that I had was, what is this fear, and how do we heal this fear? How can we move forward? And the answer I got was knowing why the fear is there. When did it start? When did it begin? What events happened that brought this fear on, or series of events? It could be it's very easily very possible that there's layers of different things that piled together to create this, I'm going to say block in your energy, but it's taking up space in your field. And so it's self-reflection. I feel like a lot of people, most people, it's going to be childhood beliefs from their parents and people around them, what they saw on TV, and remembering, doing maybe a meditation, or maybe hypnosis, or other tools or skills or services that other people have to rediscover these triggers within us and finding out the reason, because there's lots of things you can do to move through the steps of releasing fear, but we're releasing it from the now, which is important, but having knowledge of where it came from, it is shining a light on it, and it makes it easier to release. You can do all this work to release all this fear, but if you don't get to the root, it can keep growing. Or maybe all your work is just trimming the hedge. It's not really getting it and pulling it out. It's going to be a lot more effective, easier for your energy, and a faster, easier approach to find the root. So there's many different ways you could go about doing that. You could journal, start exploring your childhood and going into certain memories and just exploring them with curiosity and the intention that other memories are going to pop into your head that have to do with this fear, and continue to explore. There's lots of different meditations that have to do with fear, or I would say inner child, doing some inner child work, inner child meditations. I feel like that's going to be a good starting point, and it's going to illuminate some things that you can further work on. Everyone's going to be a little bit different, so it's hard to pinpoint exactly what would be perfect for you, but I feel like inner child, early child work is across the board going to help the majority of people. Okay, so I'm asking, what else can we do alongside this inner child work to help release the fear, to help move through the fear, help make this process as easeful as possible? Oh, what can make it as easeful as possible? Giving thanks to the fear, because this fear has a purpose. It had a purpose. It was protective. It tried to keep you safe. It trying to keep you in what was known to you. That comfort zone, that feeling of safety. So giving thanks to it for doing its job, for doing its best to protect you. And it doesn't matter if it's maybe not protecting you anymore or didn't protect you as much as you wanted. We're not focusing on those things. We're going to focus on the fear tried to protect you. Thank you for trying to protect me. And that energy of that, of the thanks, the genuine thanks, and not just saying the words, but actually feeling think of that fear as another person. It's like you tried your best. And I appreciate the effort that you put into keeping me safe. It's a breath, it's a release, it's a relaxation. It makes it easier for that fear to go away. If you start attacking the fear, I hate this fear keeps me stuck and it's stopping me from doing what I want to do, and you just get angry with it, it's constricted, it's held in, it's tight. It makes it so much harder to release it. So coming from that other angle makes it easier to let go. We're not blaming all parts of us. Try to think of it as like you're a group, and each group is trying their best. Some are just stronger, more equipped. Some maybe in a different situation is really, really helpful, but then your situation changes and it's not helpful anymore. That doesn't mean that at one point it didn't serve a purpose, that it's not trying to do its best. It's just not right now. It needs to take a step back. It needs to sit down. It needs to relax. It needs to not be in the forefront anymore. It can go take a rest. And that is the picture, the energy that I feel like would be helpful for a lot of people to help release this fear. And I'd like to also say that some of this fear has to do with past lives, and it's okay if something strong doesn't necessarily come up, because it could be connected to a past life, but most likely, it's a pattern. These things repeat. So if there's an issue with a past life, it most likely will be repeated at some level on this life to help you acknowledge it, to be able to look at it and release it. So it may not be as big of an event as maybe it was in a past life. Maybe it's a smaller event, but it has the same energy. So don't discount a small thing from holding on to all this big energy. So it's not necessarily the size or the importance or of the event, or just someone telling you once that would bring in this fear, and it stuck with you really hard because it mirrored something from a past life and brought it forward, and now it's really like ingrained in you. So it doesn't have to be something catastrophic happening to you. So I hope those tips, tricks, tools are helpful to you, and just that perspective helps illuminate some of these fears that all of us have. We all have this within us, and it's good to acknowledge and see all the different parts of us that are being called to be seen, because if we don't acknowledge them, we can't work on them. We can't help improve ourselves and humanity as a whole. So Thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I would love to hear from you. My website is spruceenergyhealing.com. And on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, I'm all Spruce Energy Healing. I will talk to you next time. Have a great week.